Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shruti. I am a PhD scholar at IIT Bombay. I'm working in total synthesis with Professor Krishna P. Kalyapan, and I'm your PMRF TA for this course. So let's start. We will do some previous year assignment questions for the week. I hope you all have seen the videos regarding this week. So let's start. Screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's start. So, firstly, I'm discussing about week zero assignment that was done in the previous year. So, I will tell you the question, then you try to solve it, and then I will share with you answers. Is that fine? And please try to interact with me so that if you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay, so let's start. This is question number one. Assuming each atom has an octet of electron, compounds, that means S is there, that means more than one correct options are there, that have a formal charge is R. So these are the four options that are given to you. You have to find out which of these compounds have a net formal charge. So try yourself and try to give me answers. Otherwise, I will solve. Any answers?
Ma'am, first and second option.
Answer is given by. Can you tell me your name?
Purnima Pradhan.
Okay. So your option is first and second. Okay. Any other? Everyone, please try and figure out what is the possible options that are correct for this question.
First and second.
Okay.
సాటర్డే ఇది కదా ఈరోజు ఇప్పుడు సాటర్డే
Sorry, can you repeat? Okay, so Mukul and Purnima, you are partially correct and good try. So let us discuss first what is formal charge. So formal charge on an atom is a theoretical charge This is a theoretical charge that atom would have if all bonding electrons were equally shared between bonded atoms. That means if I have two, let us consider an example of ammonia. So, in case of ammonia, if I have to find out the formal charge on nitrogen, that means nitrogen and hydrogen are bonded together. If the electrons in this bond are equally shared between them, that means they have no charge, no net charge. So, this is the theoretical charge when shares are electrons are equally shared between two bonded atoms. And how we will calculate that? There is one formula for that. That formal charge is equal to valence electron on an atom minus non-bonding electrons and minus half of bonding electrons. Valence electrons, number of electrons in the outermost shell of an atom. And non-bonding electrons are those which are not involved in bonding. That means lone pairs. And bonding electrons, how many bond it is forming. So let us consider, I need to find out what is the formal charge on nitrogen here. So in this case, nitrogen, we all know, have 5 electrons in its outermost shell. And here two non-bonding electrons are there. And bonded electrons are 6 as it is forming 3 bonds. So the charge comes out to be 0. That means nitrogen is neutral here. Similarly, you can find out charge, formal charge on hydrogen. So hydrogen has one atom, one electron in its outermost shell, and it has 0 non-bonding electron. And it is sharing 2 electrons. So bonding electrons are 2. So here also formal charge comes out to be 0. Okay. Now in your given question, you have to see which atom forms extra bond than it expect to be. In first case, we have when you see nitrogen can form 3 bonds, then its formal charge is 0. So here nitrogen is forming 3 bonds, so its formal charge is 0. This nitrogen also forming 3 bonds, so its formal charge is also 0. But oxygen expected to be to form 2 bonds, but here it is forming 3 bonds. That means oxygen must have a positive charge. Correct? So this option is correct. It has some formal charge. Similarly, in the second case, nitrogen is forming 4 bonds. So this nitrogen must have a positive charge associated with it. So this is also the compound that have a formal charge among the 4 given options. When we go to third option, in that case, every atom is forming the number of bonds it is expected to form. Nitrogen is forming 3 bonds, carbon is forming 4 bonds. So this uh, compound does not have any formal charge. Similarly, for the fourth option, all nitrogen are forming 3 bonds and carbons are forming 4 bonds. But when we go to the last option, here nitrogen is forming 4 bonds. That means nitrogen must have a positive charge associated with it. So this option is also correct. Got it? Did you get this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mukul and Purnima, uh, find out the mistakes what you are doing and don't repeat that. Okay, and else everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's move next to the next question. So this is the next question. The structures which is not a resonating structure of the others in the following question is. So take your pen and paper and write all the possible resonating structure for this molecule, and then find out which option is not a resonant structure of the other. and tell me the answer. Everyone, take your time and please give answers. Try to answer.
B.
Okay. Others?
B1.
Ma'am, D.
D.
Ma'am, B, ma'am.
B. Everyone, please give your answer. So some of you are saying option B is correct and others are saying option D is correct. Any other option? Okay. So let me explain. Option B is correct here. So first of all, what are the rules that we have to keep in mind while drawing resonating structures? So first of all, the molecule should be planar, and then it should be conjugated. Only in the conjugated systems we can able to rotate the or push the arrows. So system should be conjugated. Then the relative positions of nuclei should remain unchanged. That means in resonating structures, whatever relative position of atoms are there, it remains fixed. It will not change. Give me a minute. So the relative positions of the nuclei should remain unchanged and the charge need to be preserved in all resonating structures. So these are the rules you have to keep in mind while drawing resonating structures for a molecule. So in this case, let us draw what are the possible resonating structures for this molecule. Most important thing while drawing resonating structures is arrow pushing. So there is a source of negative charge on oxygen. So we will push the arrows from oxygen. So this electrons, when it push to this bond, then the adjacent bond should move, or the adjacent electrons should move. So the first resonating structure is, so this is the first resonating structure. So that means D option is correct. D option is not the answer. Then next we will move these arrow forward. Other possibility is this structure, which is not shown here. Then further, if we move these electrons, so this resonating structures will correspond to option C. So option C can't be a correct option. And this one corresponds to option D. This is option A. So we have only one structure which is not included in any of the resonance structures we draw. So that means option B is correct. And in this case, if you see carefully, this in this case, this hydrogen is removing. And we saw in rule that the relative position of atoms in a resonating structure or in any of the resonating structure will not change. So that means this hydrogen should be at its place. And if it is removing, that means it is not a resonating structure for the given molecule. Got it? Arrow
Yes.
pushing. Everyone got this arrow pushing? How I am pushing the electrons?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's move to the next question. So next question is, the correct order of stability of carbanion is, you have given three molecules or three carbanions. You have to find out the relative stability of these carbanions and give me the one of the options as the answer. Tell me. Take your time and solve. Okay, so I'm able to see option D.
D,
Sorry, can you repeat?
option D.
Option D. Okay.
No,
Option
option
B,
B.
ma'am.
B.
Option B, ma'am.
Got it.
B.
B. Okay, Purnima is saying option B. Mukul is also saying option B. Rasmita Naik. Achal. Everyone is giving option B as the answer. Majority of you. Okay, good job. So option B is correct. So let's discuss what are the factors that are affecting the stability of carbanion, and then we will come back to this question. So the factors that affect the stability of carbanions are: first is inductive effect. So inductive effect, we have two type of groups among the molecules. One is electron withdrawing group and other is electron donating group. And we all know carbanion is a negatively charged species. So whatever the groups that can accept this negative charge or help to move this negative charge away from the molecule will stabilize that. So in the case of inductive effect, if we are saying, so electron withdrawing group stabilize the carbanion by pulling electron density away, and electron donating group increase the electron density on carbanion, so it will destabilize the carbanion. When we talk about resonance stabilization, so if carbanions are more stable if negative charge can be delocalized through resonance. Hybridization. So sp hybridized carbanion is the most stable one. Then sp2 hybridized and then sp3 hybridized. What is the probable reason for this is s orbital is close to the nucleus. So if electrons is residing on s orbital or more s character is there in the molecule, then or in the orbital, then it is close to the nucleus and a negative charge is attracted by nucleus more effectively. So that means sp orbital can stabilize negative charge better than sp2 orbital, which can stabilize better than sp3 orbital. Then in case of aromatic compounds, if negative charge is forming in any compound and it is the part of aromaticity, then that carbanion is stable enough. Then polar solvents stabilize the carbanion by dipole-dipole interaction. And if we have a bulky group in adjacent to the carbon containing negative charge, then due to steric hindrance, that carbanion is unstable. Then the last factor that affect the stability of carbanion is hyperconjugation. So more the number of alpha hydrogens adjacent to the carbanion, more stable is the carbanion. So these are the factors that you have to keep in mind while deciding the stability of any carbanion or containing molecules containing carbanion. So on the basis of these factors, we can apply stability of carbanion. We can decide this stability of carbanion on the basis of hybridization. So what is the hybridization in first molecule? sp, sp2 or sp3?
SP, ma'am.
SP.
SP. SP.
Good. So here hybridization is sp. Then in second case,
SP2.
sp2. And in third one,
SP.
sp3. So that means in option number 1, there is more percentage S character. And if percentage S character is more, that means stability will increase. Okay, so option B is correct. Any doubts? Is this clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So let's move to the next question. Okay. So you have to find out the what is the reaction involved in this question, and you have to tell me the major product among these four when this amine will react with sodium nitrate in the presence of HCl, then intermediate B will form, and further on reaction with this tertiary amine, it will form C. So what is the major product that will form as C?
Option D.
Okay, Mukul is saying option D.
No, D.
Yeah, D only I'm saying. Everyone please try and give answers. Intermediate B will form through a diazotization reaction. This is a hint. So try to solve. Purnima is also saying option D. Okay.
D, ma'am.
Okay.
Option D, ma'am.
Lata is also saying D. Then okay, other one is also saying D. Okay. Option B. Option D. Option D. So many of you are saying option D. So option D is correct. So let us discuss about the mechanism. So first, in diazotization reaction, firstly, the generation of nitrous acid would takes place. And when this sodium nitrate will react with hydrochloric acid, it will form HNO2 and NaCl will release as a salt in this process. Then this HNO2 will react further with this HCl and it will form nitrosyl cation or nitrosonium ion. And water and Cl negative will be the byproduct in this step. Then thirdly, the formation of disonium salt. So this disonium salt will form. So nitrosonium ion is forming. So amine will attack on this nitrosonium ion and it will form this species. As nitrogen is having positive charge, so this Cl negative or other counter anion will take this proton and it will neutralize the positive charge on nitrogen and this will form. This species will form. Up to here, any problem? This mechanism is understood. Then after the formation of this species, then lone pair on oxygen will abstract the proton from the acid source and it will form again this species. So after the formation of this species here, then removal of water will lead to this disonium salt, that is benzene ring connected to N2 positive. So in this case, after getting this species, we have another amine that will react with this disonium salt. So here B product, what we got is we got this disonium salt. Then this amine will react on this nitrogen and stabilize its positive charge. So the option which one is correct is D option. Okay, now some of you will think that this nitrogen can knock out, but the positive charge formed on aromatic ring is not stable. So this option B is not correct, which is given by some of you. Okay, any doubts?
No, ma'am.
So this is clear?
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's move on to the next question. So here, the correct order of reactivity of the given molecule towards electrophilic aromatic substitution is. So three molecules are given. You have to find out the correct order or relative order of reactivity of these three molecules towards electrophilic aromatic substitution. Try to solve.
D.
Okay, Mukul is saying option D. Okay.
Ma'am, B.
Lata, which option you are saying?
B, ma'am.
D. Okay. Then others are also saying D. Okay. Rashmita is also saying D. Anant, sorry. D. Okay. So most of you are saying option D. So that is correct. So correct option is option D. So let us find out. In electrophilic aromatic substitution, what are the factors that will govern the stability of the intermediate or that will determine the reactivity of electrophilic aromatic substitution? So, firstly, nature of substituents that are attached to the aromatic ring. If it is an electron donating group, as electrophile is going to attach or going to substitute the hydrogen, and as we all know, this electrophile is a electron deficient species. And if it is electron deficient, that means it needs electron. So any electron donating group, if in any electron donating group is attached with the aromatic ring, then it will stabilize the intermediate formed during the reaction. So electron donating group increase the reactivity and activate the ring and direct substitution to ortho para position. As we all know, electron donating groups will increase electron density at ortho and para position. So these positions are more reactive to react with electrophile. Then electron withdrawing groups. So electron withdrawing groups will decrease the reactivity, and in that case only meta position is relatively electron rich than ortho and para position. So in that case meta product will be the major one. Then position of substituents. If steric effects, first of all we will discuss about the steric effects. So bulky group will hinder the electrophile and reduce the reactivity of that group of that electrophile towards electrophilic aromatic substitution. And if we have any group that can help in resonance or stabilize the intermediate cation, then it will increase the reactivity of that molecule. Then stronger electrophiles which have more less electron density, then it will increase the reaction rate. And in case of weaker electrophile, it may require some catalyst to activate the electrophile, and then it will undergo electrophilic aromatic substitutions. Then polar solvents can stabilize intermediates and transition states and can affect reaction rate. And non-polar solvents used to maintain aromatic integrity and reduce side reactions. So we mostly prefer polar solvents in case of aromatic electrophilic aromatic substitution. So on the basis of this, as we have to find out the correct order of reactivity towards electrophilic aromatic substitution, so we will find which ring is more electron rich. So we all know methoxy is having plus R effect. So if it will show plus R effect, then it will increase electron density through plus R effect at ortho and para position. So this is the most reactive one. Then among nitro group and chlorine, this chlorine will show minus I effect. Whereas nitro will show minus R effect. And we all know R effect, minus R effect will destabilize the electron or decrease the electron density much more than minus I effect. So the correct option is option number D. So option D is correct. Is this clear?
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
So
Please
let's move on
explain the
to
second.
yeah. Second option. That means you are asking about this third chloro one.
No, the second.
Second, okay. This O methoxy group or methoxy group will show plus R effect. So it will increase the electron density on the aromatic ring and make it more susceptible to donate its electron pair to the electrophile or to the upcoming electrophile. That's why this is more electron rich, option B or second, and it is more reactive towards
It
electrophile.
also shows plus I,
Yeah, it can show plus I, minus I. Oxygen will show minus I, not plus I.
but in the meta position, how it will show resonance?
Okay, so yeah, you are correct. It will show plus I at the meta position, but it will also show plus R. So because of both, we are not saying on the basis of relative position of this OH with respect to methoxy. We are saying methoxy can show plus R effect and plus I effect both, but plus R effect is predominantly make this ring electron rich. Plus I effect will also play the role, but plus R effect of this methoxy group will increase electron density on this ring, so it will react more towards the electrophile. That's what I'm saying. If we have to find out the position where it will react and where electrophile will attack, then that at that time we will check whether this will show plus R effect at which position. But we are saying about the reactivity, so we have to consider both the effects that it will show.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so this is clear to everyone?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So here is the correct order of reactivity of the given bromides in an SN1 reaction is. You have to find out what is the correct order of reactivity of these substrates towards SN1 reaction. Can you tell what is the intermediate formed during SN1 reaction?
Carbocation.
Yeah. So you have to find out what is
Carbocation.
the relative stability of the carbocation that will form after the removal of these bromide groups.
Option C.
Okay, Mukul is saying option C. From which college you are, Mukul?
Calcutta.
Calcutta. Okay. Others, please give your answer. Okay, someone is saying
C,
option
ma'am.
C. Lata?
C.
Option C, madam.
Option? Amol, I'm not able to get.
C, C.
Ma'am.
Option C.
Option C. Okay.
Ma'am, option C.
Okay.
Ma'am, option C.
Option C. Option C. Purnima is also saying option C. Okay. So correct option is option C here. So let us find out what are the factors that will affect the reactivity of substrate in SN1 reaction. So firstly, carbocation stability is the main concern for the SN1 reaction. And we know tertiary carbocation is more stable than secondary one, then primary, and then methyl carbocation. What are the factors that will govern the stability of these or this order is that resonance effect, hyperconjugation, inductive effect, these all will uh, affect this stability. So, if carbocation can delocalize the positive charge through resonance in allyl or benzylic carbocation, that is more stable or and is more reactive in an SN1 reaction. Then polar protic solvents like water, alcohol, carboxylic acid that will stabilize the carbocation intermediate through solvation. It will delocalize the positive charge of the resulting carbocation and increase its reaction rate towards SN1 reaction. Then leaving group ability. If the halogen attached or the group attached with the molecule that is going to participate in an SN1 reaction is a good leaving group, then it will dissociate easily and the carbocation will generate easily or it will generate fastly. So the reaction rate will increase. Then if we talk about substituents, electron donating group will provide electron density to the carbocation and increase its stability and enhance its reactivity. Then if steric hindrance is there, then steric hindrance is less critical in SN1 than compared to SN2 reaction. Very bulky groups undergo reaction center around the reaction center can influence the formation and the stability of the carbocation. So these are the factors that will affect the reactivity of substrate in an SN1 reaction. So here if we will see, so what are the species formed after the removal of this bromide? So in this case, here positive charge will generate. Here this positive charge will form and this is this one. So if you see molecule 3, so how many electrons are there in this system? 6 pi electrons. And if you know about the concept of aromaticity, so 6 pi electrons means this third molecule is aromatic in nature. And if it is aromatic, that means it is most stable and most reactive one. And in case of second one, it is having 4 pi electrons. And 4 pi electrons means it is anti-aromatic. And anti-aromatic system is not so stable, so it is less reactive. It is this carbocation will not form as much early as aromatic compound will, or aromatic carbocation will form. And in first case, that carbocation is allylic carbocation. So that is relatively more stable than second one. This is allyl carbocation, so it is relatively stable than second. So third is most stable, so is more reactive than first and then second. So option C is correct here. Got it? Any doubts?
Okay, ma'am. No, no, ma'am.
Okay. So this is the next question. The reactive intermediate formed in the given reaction is. So you have to find out the reactive intermediate that can be formed in this reaction. Okay, someone is saying option A.
Option B, ma'am.
Option B.
No, ma'am. Option B.
Option
B, ma'am. B.
B. Okay. Everyone, please try to answer.
A, ma'am.
Option A. Lata is saying option A.
Dichlorocarbon.
Okay. Purnima is also saying option B. Option B. Okay, so correct option is option A here, that is dichlorocarbene. So what are carbenes? So carbenes are highly reactive species in organic chemistry that are characterized by a neutral carbon atom with two non-bonding electrons, and it has only 6 electrons. So carbenes having 6 electrons in its valence shell, that means they are electron deficient. And if it is electron deficient, it will try to react with a electron rich species. Now, what are the ways in which, and these carbenes are of two types, singlet carbene and triplet carbenes. Triplet carbenes in which the two electrons are in different orbitals, and singlet carbene in which the two electrons lie in the same orbital. So, what are the methods by which we can generate carbenes? First is thermal decomposition. If you take a diazo compound and heat it, then this nitrogen will knock out and you will get carbene. Second is photochemical decomposition. If you radiate diazo compounds with light or UV radiation, then nitrogen again will knock out and this will generate carbene here. Then alpha elimination. In case of compounds like chloroform, where we have a acidic hydrogen associated with carbon and a living group is attached with with this same carbon, then any base will abstract this proton and at the same time this leaving group will leave, so it can form this kind of carbenes. So in this case, this potassium tertiary butoxide is used as a base and it will abstract the proton from the chloroform, and then at the same time Cl negative will remove as chloride ion and it will leads to the formation of this dichlorocarbene. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Option B, carbon ion is not the option, because if you are saying that after the deprotonation, the species is reactive enough as it is having a living group. So after the removal of this proton, whatever negative charge will come, then this chloride will take this negative charge and try to neutralize it and form this dichlorocarbene. And if we have this, so this carbene species will form, and then it will undergo reaction with this double bond, internal double bond, because it is most electron rich. It is tetra substituted double bond. So being tetra substituted, it is electron rich and it is undergoing reaction with this tetra substituted double bond, not with the double di substituted one. Okay, any doubts?
No, ma'am.
So
No,
let's
ma'am.
move on to the next question. So question number 8 says the major product formed in the given reaction is. So which reaction is this? Can anyone tell?
B. B answer, ma'am. Epoxide.
Epoxide. Okay. Others? Can anyone tell me the name of this reaction? This is a name reaction. If not, then try to find out the answer. We have a diol and we have a proton source. So what proton source can do and how diol will react with that proton source, and then write the mechanism, try to write the mechanism, push the arrows and try to find out. I'm giving you a hint. This is pinacol pinoculon rearrangement.
Ma'am, repeat the question, ma'am.
This is pinacol pinoculon rearrangement. This is a name
So you
reaction
are
in
asking
which diol
catalyst.
will react with.
You are asking catalyst.
Sorry.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm able to listen, Lata. You can say. Okay, someone is saying option C. Lata, try to push the arrows and how diol will react with H positive ion or proton. Tejaswini is saying option B. Lipika is saying option B. Harshal is saying option B.
B, ma'am.
Okay, Meenal is saying option B.
Ma'am, no, ma'am. B.
Huh. Epoxide, right? Okay, so correct option is option C. As epoxide is not so stable when it is connected to two 5-member rings. So this is not stable here. And in pinnacle rearrangement, what is the mechanism involved is you have a diol and it will leads to the formation of a ketone. So when this diol will abstract this proton, so this species will form. And after the loss of water, which is a good living group here, this carbocation will generate here. In pinnacle rearrangement, carbocation is the intermediate. So after the formation of this intermediate, then rearrangement will take place and the adjacent group will migrate to this carbon, and then carbocation will form next to oxygen as it is more stable. Why it is more stable? Because oxygen can donate its lone pair of electrons to the carbon having positive charge and stabilize the carbocation by delocalizing that positive charge. So by resonance, this positive charge can be stabilized by oxygen lone pair. Then proton will leave and this ketone will form. Got it? So in our case, we have this diol, so it will abstract this proton and it will form this species first. Then after the loss of water here, the carbocation initially formed is this carbocation will generate. Then this bond will migrate to this position and carbocation will generate next to oxygen. So this one 6-membered ring is formed. and one 5-membered ring is formed. And here this is OH, and next to it is positive charge. So oxygen lone pair can participate in delocalization and stabilize this carbocation. And after the loss of proton, it will lead to the product formation. Any doubts? Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what you are doing is you are just directly reacting this oxygen with this carbocation generated. But the strain of this ring is much more than the normal epoxide. So this, because of the strain in this ring, this epoxide will not form and rearrangement will take place. So because of strain in this epoxide ring formed, this option B is not correct, but it will undergo an rearrangement to form the stable 6,5 spiro compounds. So option C is correct, not option B. Got it?
Okay, ma'am.
Is this clear to everyone? If you have any doubts, you can ask. So this is pinacol-pinocolone rearrangement. Okay, so next let's move towards the next question. This is question number 9. The correct order of basicity of the following compound is. You have to find out the correct order of basicity. Basicity means these all species wants to react with the proton source, so which will react faster than the other.
Option A.
Okay, Mukul is saying option A.
A, ma'am.
Okay, Lata is saying option A. Shmita is saying option A.
Option B, ma'am.
Okay, option A and option C. Option B and option C, correct? Okay. Amol is saying option A. Nima is saying option C. Okay, so correct option is option C
Option
here.
C.
Yeah.
It's sp2 hybridized.
Yeah. So if you see the hybridization here, this nitrogen is
sp3.
sp3 hybridized and having a lone pair of electrons. That is not involved in conjugation. So it can donate its lone pair of electron to a proton source and can act as a base. In case of second pyridine, nitrogen lone pair are not involved in conjugation and it is not a part of aromatic
Pranav.
sequence. Lone pairs are available to donate to the proton source. Yes. Anyone wants to say anything? Okay. So in case of second, this nitrogen is sp2 hybridized and having a lone pair of electron that is not involved in conjugation, so it is free to donate to any proton source. And in case of first pyrrole, these nitrogen lone pairs are involved in conjugation and it is a part of aromaticity here. So these electrons are not available to donate, these electrons are not free to donate to any proton source. So this is the least basic. And as we know, sp2 hybridized nitrogen is electronegative than sp3 hybridized nitrogen. So in case of second, electrons are strongly bind to the nitrogen, but in case of sp3 nitrogen, electrons are not so strongly bind to the nitrogen, so it can donate easily. So that's why correct option is option C. Third is most basic, then second, followed by one. Got it? Any doubts? So whoever is saying option B, you have to keep in mind that while predicting the basicity of any compound, first of all think about hybridization also. That will also affect the basicity of any compound. So these are the factors that affect basicity. Firstly, atomic size and electronegativity. Smaller size, that means less electronegative atom, are more basic. Then more s character, that will decrease the basicity as those electrons are not those electrons are more bind to that atom and they are not available for donation to the proton source. Then if lone pair of electrons on an atom are involved in delocalization, then electron donating effect of that atom decreases and hence basicity will decrease. Then electron withdrawing group decreases the basicity. Solvation effect in protic solvent, solvation in protic solvent increases the basicity. And steric hindrance also affect the basicity as because of steric hindrance, electrons are not easily um, able to that atom is not able to donate that electron density easily to the proton source, so steric hindrance also decreases basicity. And if lone pairs are part of aromaticity or aromatic compound, then they will not that atom will not donate its electron to any proton source, so that will also decrease basicity. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. You have to find out which of these compounds is anti-aromatic in nature. You have given four options and you have to find out which compound is anti-aromatic in nature. All of you know about anti-aromaticity, or should I explain first? Okay, Purnima is saying option A. Ankita is saying option B.
Option A, ma'am.
Okay, Menka is saying option A. Rashmita
A, ma'am.
option A. Lata option. Lata, which option you are saying?
A, A, A,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, okay. Amol B.
A.
Okay. So let's discuss the concept first, then we will get back to this question. And correct answer is option A. So the classification of aromatic, anti-aromatic, and non-aromatic compounds. For that, we used Huckel rule. So if any system is cyclic, planar, and conjugated, then we have to find out which type of electron system it is containing. It has 4n plus 2 pi electrons or 4n pi electrons. If any of these conditions failed, then that compound is non-aromatic. Directly you have to say that is non-aromatic. And if these conditions are fulfilled by any molecule, then you have to see whether it has 4n plus 2 pi electrons or 4n pi electrons. If it has 4n plus 2 pi electrons, then it is aromatic in nature. And if it has 4n pi electrons, then it is anti-aromatic in nature. Okay, so on the basis of this rule, we can say that here boron is having an p orbital that is empty. So it is having only, this is firstly, this is cyclic, planar, and conjugated. Planar you can say on the basis of hybridization that all the atoms here is sp2 hybridized, so it is planar. So it is cyclic, it is conjugated, it is planar, and it is having 4 pi electrons. 2 pi bonds, that means 4 pi electrons. So this is anti-aromatic. Compound second is, okay, you guys tell me, this is aromatic, anti-aromatic, or non-aromatic? Is this cyclic?
It has no conjugation.
It has no conjugation, and it has one two sp3 atoms also. So this is non-aromatic, not planar. Third one, aromatic, non-aromatic, or anti-aromatic?
Non-aromatic.
Non-aromatic, because it also contain an sp3 hybridized center. That means it becomes non-planar, and if it is non-planar, then it is non-aromatic. Fourth option, this is aromatic, anti-aromatic, or non-aromatic?
Aromatic.
Okay, good,
Aromatic.
Mukul. So this is aromatic. So in this case of molecules, this carbonyl density will shift towards the more electronegative atom, that is oxygen in this case, and create a positive charge here. And because of the generation of that positive charge, it is having 2 pi electrons only. So this is aromatic in nature. These four examples are clear. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So let's move on to the next question. So here you have to find out the correct order of stability of these carbocations. We already discussed the factors that affect the stability of carbocation. Now you have to find out the stability order. And on what factor you will decide the stability. While deciding the stability of carbocation, we have to check hyperconjugation, inductive effect, resonance effect, and if carbocation is attached to some electron donating group or not, that is having lone pairs. So on among these four factors, which factor you will choose to decide the stability of these carbocations?
C.
Okay, Mukul is saying option C.
C, ma'am.
C, ma'am.
On what factor you will decide? Mukul, which factor you decide to choose the option C?
Inductive effect and hyperconjugation.
Okay, among inductive effect and hyperconjugation, which is more stable? Which will decide the stability more?
Hyperconjugation.
Hyperconjugation. So you are saying option C is correct, right? That means you
Yes.
have to check which molecule have or which carbocation have more number of alpha hydrogens. But in fourth case, there is no alpha hydrogen. Think about it.
Now, like,
First option.
ma'am, we have
Yeah, first option is correct.
First one, sorry. First one.
Yes. Here option first is correct. Now we are seeing that there is no electron donating group is there. So resonance effect is not the case that will decide the stability of these carbocations. So we are left with inductive effect, that is plus I effect of these groups, and hyperconjugation effect. And we all know hyperconjugation is predominantly deciding the stability of these carbocations than inductive effect. So on the basis of that, here we have three alpha hydrogens. Here two alpha hydrogens. In option third, we have only one alpha hydrogen. And in last case, we have zero alpha hydrogen. So more the number of alpha hydrogen, more hyperconjugating structures are there and more is the stability. So that's why option 1 is correct. Everyone understood? Got this?
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Whoever is saying option C, try to find out where you are doing mistake.
Ma'am.
So these are the factors that we discussed already. That if carbocation is adjacent to the alkyl group, then inductive effect will decide the order, or hyperconjugation will decide the order. And if it has more number of alpha hydrogens adjacent to the carbon containing positive charge, then more hyperconjugating structure will decide that it is more stable. Then if it is positive charges involved in resonance, then it will stabilize the carbocation. And if carbocation containing atom is attached with an atom that is having lone pair of electrons, then it will also stabilize the carbocation. Okay, let's move on to the next one. You have to find out the reagent that will behave as a nucleophile. Which of these species will behave as a nucleophile?
Dichlorocarbon and ammonia.
That will behave as a nucleophile.
Ma'am,
Only
C answer.
one option is correct.
C1.
Okay, Lata is saying option C. Think carefully. You have to find out which atom have full octet of electrons and it can donate its electron. Then you can decide.
Full octet means
That means its octet is complete. And if a compound have to act as a nucleophile, then its octet should complete. Purnima is saying option
ammonia.
B. Okay, that is correct. Rashmita is saying,
Ammonia.
yeah, correct. Option D is correct here. See, nucleophile means
Okay, ma'am.
should its octet should be complete first. If any molecule or any atom have full octet or its octet is complete and it has lone pair of electrons associated with it, then only it can act as a nucleophile. So in this option, first boron has only 6 electrons and its octet is not complete. So it is a electrophile, not a nucleophile. Then in case of SO3, sulfur octet is complete, but it does not have any lone pair of electrons. So sulfur can't donate its electron pair to anyone because it does not have any lone pair of electrons so that it can donate to any electrophile species. So this is also not a nucleophile. In case of dichlorocarbene, as we discussed previously, that this carbon is having 6 electrons. So it is electron deficient. It does not want to donate its electron and act as a nucleophile because that will destabilize it. But in case of ammonia, nitrogen octet is complete and it has a lone pair of electron. So it can donate electron to electron deficient species. So the correct option is option D. Is this clear? First of all, you have to see which atom have full octet or which atom have 8 electrons in its valence shell. Then you have to see whether it has lone pair of electrons or not. If it has lone pair of electron, then it can donate. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next one. Okay, this is a similar kind of question that we discussed previously. You have to find out the correct resonating structures of the given molecule. You have to find out more than one option correct it is. Which are the options that are the resonating structure for this molecule? First of all, draw all the resonating structures and then answer.
Option A, B, C.
Okay, Manisha is saying option A, B, and C.
ABC.
Okay, Mukul is saying option A, B, and C. For structures to be resonating, the relative position of atom should not change. This you have to keep in mind while solving the question. Purnima is saying option C, A, B, C, A and C. Okay. Rashmita is saying option A, B, and C.
Is the C sp3?
C1.
Yes.
You are asking about carbanion, right? That is sp3.
Yes.
But in case of resonating structures, hybridization will not play a role. You just have to see whether you can shift the electrons there or not while following the conjugation. Okay, so let me draw. So if we push these electrons here, then this electron can move here. So we will get structure. This one. Okay, so this is option C. Then we can push this arrow in two directions. If we push this arrow in this direction, so we will get other resonating structure. This one. And if we push this electrons in this direction, then we will get other one. So this corresponds to second option and this corresponds to option A. But in none of the case we will get negative charge at this center. So this can't be a resonating structure for the given molecule. Okay? Is this arrow pushing understood to everyone?
Yes.
This arrow pushing is important because when you write the mechanism for any reaction, if you are not able to push the arrows in a right direction, you are not able to come up to a correct answer. Okay, so you have to learn how you will push the arrow so that you can move in a right direction only. That is from a electron rich source to the sink, that ma'am will explain in the videos also. Okay, so next question is the correct order of stability for the given radicals is.
D.
Okay, Mukul is saying option D. Which factor you decided to choose this?
First one is 3 degree and then allylic, then 1 degree. Sorry, I think it's C, not D. Sorry, ma'am.
Okay. No, which factor? Inductive effect, hyperconjugation, resonance effect. Which factor you decided or you choose?
Resonance.
Okay. So on the basis of resonance, you are deciding the stability of these radicals. So why you change your option? More number of
Sorry, sorry.
radicals. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Don't get confused. Most of you are saying option D. That is correct. So if we see the stability order of these radicals, so here we have three phenyl rings attached with the carbon having radical. So this radical can undergo delocalization with three phenyl rings. So it is having more number of resonating structures. And if radical is delocalized on more number of carbons, that means it is more stable. After that we have this benzylic radical, in which this radical will delocalize only in one phenyl ring. Then we have allylic radical that will delocalize only to the one double bond or two carbons only. So the correct order of stability is D. Third, then first, then second. On the basis of resonance effect, we will decide the stability of these radicals. Any doubts in this question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So, this is the next question. Which reaction is this? We already discussed one example of this reaction.
Ma'am, pinacol, pinacol.
Yeah, pinacol, pinacolone rearrangement. So, let's find out the answer.
B.
Okay.
B1.
Okay, Lata is saying option B. Option B. Option A. Option C. Option C. Okay, those who are saying option C, then the ring will not break. So it can be option 1, A, or option B. You have to decide between the two. We already discussed this epoxide will not form as it is strained. So the option D is not correct. Then the ring will not break as six-membered ring is enough stable to handle the strain. So the ring will not break. Then you have to decide whether A, option A or B, which option will lead to the product formation. Firstly, that carbocation will form that is stable. So if we abstract the proton, if this diol will abstract the proton, so the two possibilities is this carbocation will form or this
This is
carbocation.
3 degree.
This is first one is 3 degree, that is fine, and second one is also 3 degree. But in this case, when carbocation, in case of second option, if carbocation is formed here, then and one of the phenyl ring will migrate to that carbon, then it will come here. But in product, phenyl ring is not migrating, correct? So after the
Yes.
migration of the phenyl ring, then it will not form the desired product, it will form this product. Here we have phenyl, and then next to it we have a ketone and a containing a phenyl ring. So if you are saying this is option B, then this will lead to this product, not the given product. So that means correct option is option A. Firstly, this proton hydroxy group will abstract this proton, and the carbocation generate is stable enough because of the delocalization with the phenyl ring. Then this bond will migrate here and it will form a seven-membered ring, and then ketone will generate in the seven-membered ring. So the correct option is option A, not option B. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on to the next question. Okay, so this is also the question of diazotization reaction that we already discussed. So push arrows and try to find out what is the correct mechanism. First of all, disonium salt will form and then it will react further. Okay, option B. Any other option? Option D. Rashmita is saying option D. Okay, let me explain. So as this is the trans-tecalin, so this is the chair conformation that is shown to you. So first of all, this disonium salt will form in this case, and it is showing stereochemistry below and below. So this means that is axial, and this OH is axial here, and this N2 positive is equatorial. Okay, so when this OH will or oxygen will push its electron pair, then nitrogen will leave, and when it will leave, then the attack should be anti-periplanar. Anti-periplanar means that if nitrogen is in this plane, then whatever the group will push this nitrogen away from this molecule, it will attack in the anti-periplanar plane. That is, in this case, is this bond. So it will attack from 180-degree plane opposite to this nitrogen and will leave this molecule. So if you see in case of option A, this bond is not broken and it is forming that this hydrogen is leaving this in this case. But this is not possible. Whenever elimination will takes place, then whenever E2 elimination will takes place, then it will takes place in anti-periplanar manner, but this is syn periplanar. This hydrogen and this nitrogen, both N2 positive, both are in the same plane, both are equatorial. So this is not a correct option. Then in case of second, oxygen will not attack here because the ring formed, this epoxide ring form is strained in this case also. Epoxide will not generally very stable. So this is not a correct option. Then as oxygen is more electron rich, so it will push its electron pair, and this hydrogen will not participate in this reaction. Then in the last case, this when this oxygen will push its electron, then this bond will participate in the anti-periplanar attack to remove this nitrogen here. So this is the correct option. Then aldehyde will form. Okay, so this will attack like this and this will form. So this you should keep in mind that in acidic medium, part third will not follow. Like this, the hydrogen will not go in acidic medium. And anti-periplanar attack is favorable. So attack should be done anti-periplanar to the living group in all E2 elimination reactions. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So next question is racemization of R occurs via formation of X. The structure of X is. So here, when this ketone is reacting with base in the presence of aqueous ethanol, then an intermediate is forming, and then it will leads to the formation of racemic this ketone. So what is the possible intermediate formed during the reaction? Think about it and then answer. First of all, base will abstract the proton. So carbon ion will generate first or enolate will generate first. Which is the stable enolate formed that you have to decide. That will only lead to the product formation or racemization of the product. So what are the possible protons that it can abstract? Whether it can abstract this proton or it can abstract this proton. Only two acidic protons are there. So base will abstract these two protons and then you have to decide which enolate will generate and which enolate is stable. So on the basis of that you have to answer. Think about it and answer.
Option A.
Okay, Mukul is saying option A. Okay. Purnima is saying option B. Option C.
A, ma'am.
Okay, Lata is saying option A. Rashmita is saying option C. Okay, let's discuss. So, when base will abstract the proton, what are the possible structures formed that I will write first? Whether this. Okay. So, if base will abstract this proton, then this carbon ion will generate, and this will leads to the this enolate formation. They are forming in all, so I'm writing in this that way only. If this enol will form, then after the reaction also, this chiral center will remain unchanged. So racemization will not take place. Whatever the chirality in the starting material, this intermediate will leads to the chirality in the product also. Okay, but if it abstract the other proton, when whoever is saying option C is correct, it will not abstract this proton because this proton is not acidic enough that it will react. Okay, so option C can't be the correct option, and in option D, that is undergoing reaction with other molecule of this same molecule, that is aldol reaction is not taking place here, and this is not aldol product also. So option A or option B, two options we can choose. But option A is not correct because the chirality will remain intact if it will abstract proton from this side. But if it will abstract proton from other side, then this will form. And if this carbon ion is formed, then this chirality will get disturbed, or a planar structure is formed. Then this planar alkene will form. And as it is planar, so this nucleophile can attack from above side and below side. Both faces are equally feasible to attack to the by the nucleophile. So then racemization can take place. So correct option is option B. Got it? Why option A is not correct? Because the chirality will
Yes.
not change. Okay. Any doubts in this question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So next question is the reaction mechanism leading to the major product of the reaction is. This is the example of 1,4 addition, and this is Gilman's reagent which they are using. So you have to find out which mechanism will leads to the major product. These are the four options given to you. You have to first select the major option which is formed according to you, and then decide whether it is following the correct mechanism or not. In all cases, 1,4 addition is taking place, but in the one case it is undergoing 1,2 addition. So that product you can directly eliminate, because Gilman reagent mostly undergoes 1,4 addition only, and it's at 0 degree Celsius it will definitely goes to 1,4 addition. Take your time and decide. Answer. Okay, someone is saying option B. Option B. Option B. Mukul, Lata, Purnima. Answer. Everyone, please answer. Okay, Purnima is saying B. Okay. Okay, let us discuss. So, correct option is option B. So, in option A, B, and C, this Gilman reagent is undergoing 1,4 attack. This methyl is attacking at the 4th position. So, this is correct. But in case of D option, this is undergoing 1,2 attack, which is not the case. So, this option is not correct. Okay. Then, in first case, when the enolate will form, then it is got quenched by taking the proton, and it will lead to this uncyclized product, we can say. But as enolate is formed here, and we have a leaving group in the system, so this will not quenched by the proton, but it will attack on that leaving group so that it can leave, and the stability will generate in the system, which is done in the option 2, that this enolate is attacking on that carbon bearing a leaving group, and this leaving group will leave, and it will generate this bicyclic system. In third case also, that oxygen is attacking on that carbon bearing leaving group, and that leaving group will leave. But in this case, 7-membered ring is fine, it can form, but the bridged system does not contain a double bond. According to Brett's rule, double bond is not stable at the bridge head position. So this product is not that much stable as second product is stable. So the major product formed in this reaction is option B. That is, this bicyclic system will form that will not contain a double bond. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Others? Clear?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So next one. Oh, so this is the last question. Tell me the possible reaction intermediate that will form. You have to push nitrogen lone pair in such a way that it will react with that proton. So, in which direction it will react?
D.
Okay, option D, Mukul is saying. Okay.
Also option C.
Option C. One option is correct.
Ma'am, C or D.
C or D.
Somewhat confusion.
Okay, okay.
C.
Rashmita saying C. Mukul is saying C. Okay.
After C, it's getting D.
After C, it is getting D. Okay. Okay, let us discuss. Now, what will happen that this nitrogen can directly abstract proton. This is the one case. If this will happen, then nitrogen is having positive charge, and then that water can directly attack here, and it will leave. but the positive charge at the sp2 center that will create in this case is not stable. So nitrogen will directly not abstract the proton. So what it will do, it will involve in conjugation with this sp2 center, and then that sp2 carbon will abstract the proton. So what is the intermediate formed will in this case is this intermediate will form. Then it undergo hydrolysis, and this will lead to the product formation in this case. So the intermediate formed is this one. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. So you all can leave now. Thank you for the session. I hope you got all the questions. If you have any query, you can ask me in this next session also.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's all right, guys.
Thank you, ma'am.